Hello there, Kyle Katarn here, coming back with another Star Wars The Old Republic lore drop from the Journals of Master Gnost-Dural. This is the 12th and final issue in here in this playlist, and it's called The Great Hyperspace War. Okay, we're going back and we're finally going to get these answers. Or at least I am. I'm late to the party. I know already. I'm catching up. Everyone else knows this stuff already. Over the millennia, the Galactic Republic has faced no greater threat to its existence than the brutal invasion instigated by Sith Lord Naga Sadow. It was a time in history when the original Sith Empire had reached the height of its power, and the Republic was poorly prepared for a conflict of such magnitude. Master Gnost-Dural looks back at the Great Hyperspace War and identifies the controversial decision that drove the Sith into exile and set the stage for the Empire's campaign of vengeance against the Republic. I'm going to miss these, man. These journals have been so much fun. But yeah, let's do it. This is the last one. Old Republic Timeline, the Great Hyperspace War. Let's do it! I really hope they end up making more of these. Chances are slim, but now that Broadsword's in charge, maybe. About 100 years later.
Among past threats to the Republic, the Great Hyperspace War stands above all other wars in galactic history. In fact, the battle we fight today is in many ways an extension of this same conflict. The Sith Empire we believe we had destroyed in this war has now returned to avenge its defeat. The historical factors that set the stage for the modern conflict bear close examination.
The Republic raising Korriban.
The greatest factor of all may have been the way the Republic concluded the Great Hyperspace War. The Great Hyperspace War began at a time when the Republic had enjoyed millennia of peace, growth, and consolidation. In contrast, the Sith Empire was ending its centuries-long adolescent period. Undiscovered by the Republic, the Sith had conquered all of the star systems near Korriban. They were now seeking new opportunities.
They mean the new reformed Sith Empire, right? I didn't realize it was that much younger than the Republic.
At this time, a brutal power struggle had broken out following the death of the Sith ruler. Among the contenders was the Dark Lord Naga Sadow.
Naga Sadow.
Whether by chance or destiny,
I love this cool, Neo-Egyptian theme they've given the Sith culture.
Naga Sadow seized this opportunity to gain political advantage.
Like a little bit ancient Roman, too, like this very ancient world.
The explorers were imprisoned as spies, but Naga Sadow staged an attack to liberate the explorers. He left evidence, suggesting the attack was a Republic military operation.
Dude's not even wearing pants, he's in an ice cave.
Leveraging the widespread fear of an impending Republic invasion, Naga Sadow rallied the Sith to unite behind his cause, a preemptive strike against their newly discovered enemies. Eager for war, the people embraced Naga Sadow as their new ruler. His first act was to launch a vicious assault against the Republic.
The sacking of Coruscant.
The Sith armies attacked on several fronts.
That's great art.
Including Coruscant itself. Naga Sadow commanded all his forces from a meditation sphere, suspended over a giant star.
It's dope.
The initial onslaught overwhelmed the Republic's unprepared defenses. The Sith Empire's victory was almost assured, but as happened so often, the dark side turned upon itself.
Infighting. It's always the way.
Sadow was betrayed by his apprentice.
It's exactly what happened with, Revan as well.
The apprentice was defeated. The attack did succeed in breaking Naga Sadow's battle meditation.
Same with Exar Kun and Keldroma. Same story. Sith just can't work together long enough to pull it off.
Without their leader's direction, and the Republic forces soon chased the invaders back.
Damn.
To the very doorstep of Naga Sadow's meditation sphere. Recognizing his imminent defeat, the Sith Lord abandoned his forces and started a chain of events to destroy the nearby star and everything in its vicinity.
Oh shit. Okay. Mutually assured destruction? That's the power move.
Fled back to Korriban, only to discover renewed opposition to his rule.
Yikes.
Civil war broke out, whittling away what was left of the Sith Empire's already weakened armies. Naga Sadow defeated the upstarts, but the Sith were defenseless when the Republic fleet attacked shortly thereafter. As the Republic fleet wiped up what remained of the Sith military, Nagasadao fled again, this time into permanent exile on Yavin 4.
And then the Republic fucked up because they just, like, raised the planet.
Considered a mistake. The Sith no longer posed a threat to the Republic, but the Supreme Chancellor was unsatisfied. Jedi and Republic forces were sent to Korriban and other Sith planets to ensure no remnants of the Sith Empire remained.
Yep. And they were too indiscriminate, you know? They caused such a need for vengeance.
Sith to flee into deep space, with the new Dark Lord who rose to take Nagasadaw's place. The same Dark Lord they continue to call Emperor to this day. I believe this
That's
is
crazy.
why he led his people to rebuild their civilization on Dromund Kaas. And this was why they returned 13 centuries later to get revenge against the Republic. One must wonder how things might have been if the Republic had handled the end of the Great Hyperspace War differently.
Seriously.
We mustn't forget, though, the conflict at the heart of the Great Hyperspace War and the war we fight today began even before the Sith Empire rose to power. I'll elaborate in the next holo record.
Wait, what? You'll elaborate in the next one, but there is no... Oh, that's so mean. God, that's how they end the final one? I thought there'd be like a little sign-off from Gnost-Dural being like, thank you, my student, for like listening to these tales, or like, now you know all the... No, they're just like, all right, see you next week, and then nothing. Damn. That feels so empty. Man, that's so sad. Please make more of these. These are so cool. I'm going to make a fuss about this. I'm going to start annoying devs on the game and be like, send it up the flagpole, man. Someone's got to make more of these. I'm sure Lance Henriksen would come back. Man, that's insane. Like, first of all, that was a great journal entry. I really liked the way it kind of explores the Republic's own part that they played in the return of the Sith Empire with such a vengeance. 13 centuries later. Like, God, what professional haters. That is some, like, prime hater behavior right there. They spent 13 centuries waiting, plotting, planning out a revenge, and then executing it. That's, like, so many generations of, like, you teach your kids that the Jedi suck, and then they teach their kids, and, like, none of them have ever met a Jedi, but, like, for 13 centuries, you guys are just ready for round 2. And like, I think that he makes a very good point that if the Republic hadn't come down quite so brutally on Korriban at the end of the Great Hyperspace War, maybe, like, I don't know. I think the Sith would have, like, gotten over it necessarily, but, like, you may not have, like, put such a fire under them to motivate them to come back and seek revenge. That it persisted for 13 centuries. Like, come on. Because he doesn't even lay out an alternative. He just says if they'd handle it differently. And trying to think about what that could have been, I suppose they could have tried to find a way to bring the human survivors into the fold and turn Korriban into a Republic world, rather than just, like, decimate it under the guise of, like, well, you know, we're getting the last vestiges of the Sith Empire out of here. It's like, yeah, but you're also kind of committing a genocide against pureblood Siths, right? Because they were driven to extinction at the end of the Great Hyperspace War, except for the ones that went into hiding. That's the Republic doing that. And, I mean, that's not how you end a war. I mean, it is, but not if you're the good guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Old Republic has done a really good job of sort of, like, stepping outside of the traditional Star Wars framing of, like, Empire bad, Republic good. And you really do see, like, what they talk about in the story crawl of Revenge of the Sith about how there's heroes on both sides, right? Because you've got characters that, like, are filling the archetype role of someone who is usually very villainous, like, you know, Grand Moff Tarkin, for example, you know, the Butcher of Alderaan. And here we meet Grand Moff Viken, who, I don't know, you could regard him as a hero, a man of his own people who, like, got his hands dirty, did the work, tried to build up his society, like, out of the ashes. Like, there's a lot of ways you could frame that are purely altruistic. Like, you know, they really don't make him seem like this evil Imperial Grand Moff, even though that's what he is. He's an Imperial Grand Moff, but he's not this awful guy. And then the other side of that coin is you've got, like, you know, these Republic valiant heroes who are actually, like, people like Jace Malcolm, goddamn war criminal, you know, has done terrible things. They really are blurring that line of, like, oh, well, just because you join the Empire doesn't necessarily mean that you are a villainous person. Whereas in, like, the Star Wars movies, that's generally the case. They don't do a whole lot of humanizing of Imperials, and every time they do, they end up as a rebel. Every single time. Which, I mean, that's fine. I don't know that we need to go glorifying fascists, but, like, if you want someone to stick around and be a positive character, they have to kind of become a sympathetic character at some point. Like Kallus joining the rebellion. Even Thrawn, he's the closest thing we have to a compelling, like, anti-hero character that's still an Imperial, but he's not all the way there. He's still just a villain. He's a straight-up villain. He's a bad dude. He's got a lot of fans, but that doesn't mean that he's a good guy. They do a really good job of sort of blurring that here, so you don't have to pick a side and be like, I'm going to play my character evil because I'm on the... Like, you can be a good person on the Imperial side, and you can be an absolute, like, menace and work for the Republic. There are plenty of those in the game. Like, you meet them, you have to work with them. Sometimes you take them down. Yeah, these have been so much fun, and I really am disappointed that I'm at the end of these. I am also full of gratitude, though, because I'm so happy that these were recommended to me, because I did not know that they were even out there. And, like, I've talked a lot about the lore and the context that is being expanded here, but there's so much else to appreciate here. Like, from the concept art and the way that they've, like, subtly animated it and threw a little parallax on there to make it come alive, to, like, the brilliant sound design, having just enough sound effects underneath. Like, when he talks about a lightsaber duel, you hear those sabers clashing, and it's just classy. It's just a classy production. And yeah, no, they're bite-sized, too, at, like, 5 minutes each. They could easily make more of these. Easily. And I'm not going to drop it, by the way, BioWare, Broadsword. I know you're watching. Expect annoying emails from me about this until we get some sort of a continuation of Gnost-Dural's journals. Because I know there's more DLCs coming, and there's a whole lot more story content coming. There's no reason why you couldn't continue this sort of a marketing campaign. Even if you have to start from scratch, because this was BioWare's thing. Make it happen. Make it happen. So many people would be so stoked if you did that. Myself included. But yeah, thanks so much for recommending these to me. I've really enjoyed the Old Republic journals. If you have more little lore nuggets like this, please send them my way. I would love to react to more stuff like this and, like, sort of really strengthen my history base in Star Wars. I talked about it a couple videos ago too. I will be playing Knights of the Old Republic 2 for the first time on my Twitch channel. Stay tuned for more announcements about that. It's going to be happening a couple weeks from now. But if there's any supplementary lore or anything that comes with that game too, like, please send it my way. I would love to sink my teeth into some more lore heavy stuff, because, like, I've had so much fun learning about this stuff. Man, yeah. These are great. These are great. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Check out the rest of the channel for more content, reactions, and reviews. You can also join me on my Twitch channel every Sunday at 12 PST for SWTOR Sundays, where I get up to all kinds of mischief with my guild on the Satil Shan server in Star Wars The Old Republic. Please join the fun if you want. We'd be happy to have you. Thanks again, and as always, may the Force be with you.